What's going on? And welcome back to the Step It Up Entrepreneur Podcast. Your host, Thomas Keenan, coming at you. We got a special episode today. This one is a solo. You're going to hear me and only me for the next 43, 44 minutes or so. Coming in here and just giving an update, man. Life update, what's going on in life, personal, business, the whole nine yards. It's been a busy ass year for me as an individual, not just in a business sense, but just me on the personal side of the house. And I went in, I recorded a video yesterday, this is the morning after, and the intent was for me to update my group, my Step It Up Academy one-on-one coaching clients, my Step It Up Academy group coaching clients, the mastermind members. So I went in there, did a live stream in that private Facebook group and gave everyone there an update and let them know what was going on. A couple of things we have, just coming up within our ecosystem there as far as our next quarterly event, which is happening November 9th and 10th. So if you're considering joining or applying to Step It Up Academy right now is the time to get in, because once you get that initial payment in, you can sneak on over into our quarterly meetup, which is going to be November 9th and 10th, 2023. We've got 2 action-packed days planned for the attendees. Day one, we're diving in deep and we're going to do a lot of different trainings around business, which we'll release that exact itinerary as we get a bit closer. And then day 2 is going to be exclusive for year-end review and the future year 2024 planning. I'm going to go in there and break down the exact processes that I've used in the past, to help grow and scale businesses at multiple different levels, and really just go in there and help the clients work through this stuff and set up their game plan for the next year, which is 2024. And then help them develop a system that reverse engineers that game plan so they know exactly what they need to do when they go home, which is pretty cool. And we do things a bit different. We're dialed in. We actually want people to do work with us, not just, hey, here's some theory, here's some rah-rah, here's some woo-woo shit and get the fuck out. Like, we just don't operate that way. But anyway, I don't want to go on a tangent there. I do it all day. You guys see I'm wearing a badass new shirt here. G3 method, get it done, get it documented, get it delegated. We teach this, we preach this all day long at Step It Up. It is the formula that I have used to grow and scale several businesses at this point. And it's something that I help the clients with tremendously when they come into the organization. And I'm wearing this cool shirt. It's brand new swag for us. Our online store just launched. So head over to stepitupacademy.com. And when you get there in the top right corner, you'll see a store tab. Just click on that store button and you can go in there and grab one of these shirts if you're into it. And there's like 8 or 9 or 10 other different designs there too. So if you like what we're doing, like what we're about, if you want to come and support us and get some cool gear that you can rock, and it's got a little Step It Up logo on the back too. So it's branded pretty well. But anyway, enough of that. I want you guys to go in here. I'm telling a story, a real life story of what's transpired in my life over the last year and a half. And there is a ton of valuable lessons to be learned here. Lessons around marketing, lessons around how to deal with circumstances that are kind of out of your control, lessons on how to have tough conversations, lessons on what happens, what transpires, how do you hold yourself accountable, how do you, like when life throws a shit sandwich at your face, how do you react? How much time do you give yourself to say, oh, woe is me? And, put on your little pouty face and act like a little bitch. I talk heavily about that. And I talk about real life situations that I experienced over this last year. So with that being said, dive into this episode. You got me for about 43, 44 minutes is the episode length. There's a ton of really good value here. If you do get the value, you do enjoy this podcast episode, do me a favor, head over to iTunes, head over to Spotify. Sorry, it's not iTunes anymore. It's Apple Podcasts. Excuse me. Head over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify and leave a review, because the more reviews that you guys leave over there, it's just the more stuff, the more people that this podcast is to get in front of. And as of right now, we are just about 50,000 downloads, which is pretty cool. I've had some those of you who have been listening on the regular, we've had some really cool elevated guests come in recently. Some heavy hitters have come in here and had some really super, super awesome conversations with us. And we got about 9 or 10, maybe 11 episodes that are in the bank right now that have not been released. And there's some more high level, heavy hitting people coming in behind. So don't think that, the 200th episode that just launched with Sean Clark was, your heavy hitter for the year of the season. Like, no, we got more dudes like that coming in. So I'm excited for it. With that being said, get into this episode. You guys can always reach out to me directly. I'm real easy to find on the internet. Connectwiththomas.com brings you to all my links, all of my websites, podcasts, all that stuff. And you guys can always just shoot me a DM, or my email address is there too. So if there's anything I can do for you, got any questions for me, got any suggestions, anything you want to hear on this podcast, like, dude, just reach out. I'm omnipresent when it comes to communication, and I'm literally here, and I'm just willing to help and have conversations with those of you who are also willing to reach out and make that first initial move. So with that being said, enjoy the episode and have a great day. Hey, hey, hey. What's going on, everybody? Figured I'd drop in here and share an update. Lots going on in the last week. Figured I want to come in here and, this is my group of people. Like, you guys who are in here, who are clients and beyond clients at this point, friends, people who we choose to do life and business with. I figured I'd come in here and share some updates with you guys. And I feel that you guys deserve to get these updates before the general public does as well. Some of you have been in contact with me. We've had communication around this, but I figured I'd come in here and just give you guys a heads up. Like nothing's terrible. Business is good. We're doing our thing over here. We're helping people, getting on client calls, and seeing you guys have some cool wins, which is cool. Still loving the community that you guys are coming together and helping us collectively grow, and the back and forth banter, and which is kind of funny with some of us, and just the overall support is really, it's good. It's at a very high level, which I enjoy as well. And I think it's important for you guys that are in here as paying clients. But let's get down to business here. Couple things. Sold the house last week, which is a big project that's been completed. Started working on that back in June of 2023. Came to the conclusion. I've been very open with you guys about this. But Jen and I decided to get divorced after, many months and conversations and not so fun conversations. So, okay, cool. What does that look like? What do we need to do in order to make this a reality? And some of the steps in the process were us putting the home for sale, selling the house, and kind of just splitting up the assets and the money and all the stuff that goes along with that BS. So I'll give you guys a story here with the house before I get into me and the personal side. Well, the very personal for me individually. So we bought the house a couple of years ago, and the realtor that we bought the house from, her name was Jen, and she was a breast cancer survivor who wound up having to deal with breast cancer again, just as she helped us close on the sale of the house. And not even 6 months later, the woman passed away from her second bout of breast cancer, which is kind of strange, weird, not funny at all. And then, fast forward a year and a half, and Jennifer, my Jennifer, my soon-to-be ex-wife Jennifer, was diagnosed with breast cancer, right? Kind of weird how that whole situation went down. But the realtor who represented the family who we bought the house from was awesome since, through the whole transaction. So when it came time for us to put the house for sale, I'm going to give you guys a lesson here in marketing too. When it came time for us to put the house for sale, she was the first person I reached out to. And one of the reasons that I reached out to her name's Nancy, by the way, Nancy Floyd. She is a high-end realtor with Keller Williams has like an elevated group that sells higher end homes and higher end properties in nicer areas. And I'm not saying that from a cocky perspective, but that's the community. That's the home that I just sold. Some of you have been there. Some of you have seen it. So this woman was on point from day one. Well, not a young woman either. She's probably in her mid to late 60s. Very professional, very thorough. But one of the things she did with the people we bought the house from, she left a sticker on the garage door. So when you come in through the laundry room and you walk into the garage, there was a fucking sticker on that door that I could not for the life of me get off. Okay. I tried scraping it off, tried peeling it off. And it got to the point where I was like, fuck it. It's staying. I'm not doing anything with it. And I tell you all this because the day that I decided to sell that house, I walked through my laundry room, cranked open the garage door to go into the garage to do something, quickly shut the garage door, took a step back and said, oh, that's who I'm going to call to go sell my house, right? So old school, basic marketing, stickers, flyers, maybe business cards, the traditional sense of marketing, not the digital side of marketing. The shit still works today. It enabled me to reach out to this woman, ask her to represent me as a seller's agent, and she collected a $30,000 commission from the sale of my house. Okay, so if you guys want to go ahead and do the numbers, most of us know what realtors typically take, and that was one half of the realtor who got that fee. So I say all that because marketing does work. So anyway, wind up selling the house. The transaction comes through. We do all the bullshit back and forth. They want a couple things, updated, repaired. They check this, check that. We want receipts for this and that. And we did all that. And Levi came out, and him and his crew helped out with us tremendously. And I talked about that in the past year too. We had garage doors that needed to be adjusted. We had a garage door opener that went bad like 2 weeks before we actually got out of the house. We were already in contract, and I had to call him up and have him and his guy Daniel come out and replace one of the garage door openers. I had 3 garages in that house, and one of the openers just went bad, so we had to swap it out. So I tell you all that long-winded shit because the house is sold. We closed on the house last Thursday, so just about a week from tomorrow. Financially, we did well in the house, which is a blessing. We bought it at a really good time, and the house appreciated very well in the 3 years that we were there. Got that money. I had some stuff that we need to take care of. Full transparency, had some debt, accrued that we had to take care of and pay off, which is wiped out. I am very fortunate to be in a position in my life again here where I am 100% debt free. And I got to tell you, it feels really good. With that being said, we moved out Saturday, and, flat out just a lot of emotion going back and forth. This is a house that I love the home. I still do to this day. It's a gorgeous house. Going into it, Jennifer and I both knew it wasn't our forever house. However, we never thought it would end this way, if that makes sense. So got out of the house, and we've been working on it since June. Like Jen went in for her reconstructive surgery because she had breast cancer in May 2nd of 2022. She went in, had a double mastectomy, started the whole process there of her, getting treatments and getting taken care of and healed up and curing from bullshit cancer, which I'm sure everyone here who's watching on this call right now or is in the group, everyone here knows someone or they themselves has gone through that. And it's definitely no fun. But went through that, did all that stuff. So this June's, I think it was June 6th, D-Day actually, she went in for her reconstructive surgery. And not to get into too much detail of what happened there, but basically they went in and rebuilt her breasts from the original surgery. And they did some other stuff while they were there. She opted to not go in for traditional breast implants and for her personal choices. So they wound up doing a tummy tuck as well and taking her natural fat from her body and putting it up top. So super intense surgery. I stayed back with her. I helped her out as best I could. She healed up. And when she got the clearance from the doctors, she actually traveled to New York because our kids were there. Our 3 kids were in New York, and they wound up staying there for just about a month this summer, staying with friends and family and whatnot, grandparents. My mom's up there. Her parents were there. My kids were very well taken care of and spoiled while they were there, which is cool. But when Jen actually went up to New York, it allowed me, here I am. I'm alone. It's me and the dog. And I've got a 4,600 square foot house that – we got a lot of shit. Like you got 3 kids, and you got you live together for years. You're married and whatnot, and there's a lot of stuff that has to kind of get organized and start to go away. So that period when I had a couple of weeks free at home, I started packing everything up as best I could and moving everything into a storage facility about a mile from the house. So we needed to get all that stuff cleaned up. At this point, we already signed a contract with a realtor. We knew we were selling the house, and it's wild when you work with someone who knows what they're doing. Who understands that, hey, I'm gonna get paid very well from the sale of this house when the transaction does go through. They tend to go above and beyond from the very beginning of the transaction. So and there's all lessons in here, lessons I hope that you guys who are watching this right now will pull and implement into your own businesses. It's the reason why I'm sharing this stuff with you. I'm not sharing this to go say, oh, look at me and look at my fucking crazy life, right? Because shit, everyone here could do that. Anyway, she sends over a good friend of hers who she works with, this lady named Roz, and Roz happens to be a stager, right? Roz is one of those women who has a knack for just setting up houses and I forget what it's called, interior design kind of shit. And she owns a staging company, so she'll actually come in and say, hey, rent this furniture from us and so on and so forth, and put this out, and you will have an X multiple return or increase of the ROI of the sale of the house. So my realtor Nancy paid for this service for Roz to come in there and give a consultation to us. So this woman shows up and spends a couple hours with me, just me in the house, me and the dog and this woman. And we walked room by room, and she said, I'm going to talk fast. Get your pen out, get your iPhone out, whatever you want to take notes. And I'm going to give you suggestions. Whatever you do with these suggestions is up to you. However, if you do listen to what I'm going to tell you, you will make more money on the sale of this house. Okay. My ears perk up. So you're telling me I do a little bit of extra legwork and work up front, and we can make more money on the sale. All right, cool. I'm down. Right? Because listen, if you're in this group with us, you're probably not scared to do the work, because I sure should have not, which is funny. That leads us to the current problem. We'll get to that in a minute. So do all this work, move all this stuff out, take all the suggestions this lady Roz has. And honestly, like, she nailed it, because when I got done doing the work, at this point, Jen had come back from New York and the kids were there. By the time we got done implementing everything this lady said for us to implement, the house was streamlined. It looked better. Things were more organized. The interior decorating just was better. And listen, that's not my jam. Like I'm a dude. Okay. But this lady knew what she was doing. And long story short, we wound up selling the house and making, a really good profit on the house for the amount of time that we were there. So I'm really grateful for the service and the experience that I got there. And it just goes to show you, and it also has to do with your marketing position. Are you positioning your company to sell to the low baller, right? Oh, the race to zero. Hey, the guy who always wants to come in and wants a discount up front. Are you selling to that mid-level person, or are you going after that high-end clientele? And there's a lot of business to be had in all three of those areas, but it's up to you to determine which one of those is your ideal client. Which one of those do you work best with? Which one of those do you communicate best with? Which one of those have you already infiltrated the social circle and get leads automatically sent to you, right? These are all things to consider. So think about this. Think about how you're crafting your offer. Think about how you're crafting your services and delivering to these people based upon the clientele that you are currently working with. Right? Again, lots of lessons to learn there. Lots of little things we can pick apart. Okay, so we do all this. We start showing the house. And last time I sold a house was a couple of years ago. It was middle of COVID, and things were way different, right? So we sold the house in the middle of COVID, and there was this long ass line out in front of my house in New York. They only allowed either one person or one family in the house at a time. You had to mask up and put fucking gloves on and booties. It was ridiculous. So this time around, we would get a text alert on the phone, and we had it set up. We had the system set up so they couldn't request a private showing with anything less than 2 hours notice for us, because let's just be real. I got an 80-pound Weimaraner, which she's a sweetheart, but let's call it what it is. She sheds everywhere, even though the breed's not supposed to shed. I got 3 kids, right? And anyone here who's got kids knows that they're just little tornadoes. And my kids are good and they're pretty clean for the most part, but they're kids. Like, they just leave shit behind them, right? And you got 2 grown adults who are busy, have careers, got a lot of things going on. So my house gets lived in very quickly. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. And I'm sure everyone here is the same way. Listen, we're all human. We're all put our pants on the same way, and the same shit happens in the houses. So we had this 2-hour window. So we'd get notified, and it was like doing the mad dash, the mad scramble to get the house ready, move everything around, clean everything up. And, we tried to keep it as organized as possible. We tried to have the house cleaner come in as often as possible so that it wasn't that much work when we did get the last minute request to show. And we start showing the house. We have open houses on Saturdays and Sundays. We get people coming through and looking, and we're not getting bites, we're not getting traction. And it actually dipped off with the amount of people who were coming in for the private showings. Like, man, I think private showings are really where we're going to sell this house, because it's a custom home. Right. And people who come in and are looking for this kind of home know what they're looking for. Because that's how I was when I bought the home. I had very specific criteria of what I wanted in the house. Right. And some of the things for me were, I wanted solid doors. I wanted 8-foot doors at a minimum. I wanted real crown molding throughout the home, and I wanted it to be real wood, not cheap, shitty MDF, which is basically pressed paper for those who don't know what it is. So, I had these requirements, and this house fit the bill. Anyway. School starts, the showings dip off, and through this whole process, we listed the house at $999,000 was the initial sale price. We started getting slowed down with traction, plus schools just going back here in Dallas, which was right around the beginning of August. All right, cool. Let's drop the price again. Hopefully this will get us some more traction coming through the door. So we dropped the price to $899. And we started getting some more traction, and it fell flat on its face right around the middle of the month in August, which again aligns with people going back to school, especially here down in Texas. So having some conversations with a realtor, because it's coming to crunch time. The divorce is almost finalized. We want the house gone, so this doesn't have to we don't have to fight about this or worry about it after we have finalized the divorce. Okay, so we speak to the realtor, Nancy, and say, hey, what's your professional opinion here? What do you think we should do? And she goes, I don't want to drop the price again, but I think this is probably the best option. And she's like, the real estate market's changing. Things are just going a little wild right now. Interest rates are crazy high. And, there's a lot of unknowns in the economy. And you know what? She's 100% right. And everyone here who's on this call watching right now, every one of my clients, everyone who's in group 1, level 2, I don't care what level you're in, I've had a conversation with you. We've all felt it in the business world, especially this year towards probably the latter half or the second half of 2023. So we said, all right, let's drop the price. even with the price drop, we are still doing well on the house. Is it, what we want? Of course you want more money, but I mean, at some point in time, you have to say, all right, well, this thing, if I drop the price now, I'll have less time spent in the house. You start calculating, doing the math, saying, all right, well, the mortgage on the house is this much money per month, and if I stay in it for 3 or 4 or 5 more months, it's going to be this much more money out of my pocket, plus utilities, plus expenses, plus all that shit. So you know what? Fuck it, drop the price and let's get rid of this thing, right? And that's pretty much what we did. So we wound up dropping the price to 825. 2 weeks later, not even a week and a half later, we saw an uptick in the private showing requests. All right, cool. This is a good thing. Had a couple people come in, had a couple of last minute requests, had one couple come back 2 or 3 times, like, oh, this is the one that come back, they're interested. And then boom, they just decided, hey, you know what? Actually, we're not going to move. And then the couple that actually bought the house, same deal. They came in, they looked at the house, and later that day, they came in, looked at the house again. The next day, they requested another private showing, right? And this is, I think the wife had come by herself and found the house, and this is her calling the husband and saying, hey, Joe, I don't remember the dude's name. He's like, come on, come look at the house, come check this place out, which is awesome. So we wound up selling this house to the people. Anyway, I wanted to kind of just explain that whole process, the situation, let you guys know some of the stuff that's been going on in the background in my personal life as we've transpired through the year. And this has been going on realistically. I'd say like full steam ahead, full bore, like open, honest, authentic, direct conversations between me and Jennifer since February of 2023. And I got to tell you guys, like, it hasn't been a fun year on the personal side of things, but at the same point in time, I understand that this is part of the evolution. This is part of the growth, not just for me individually, but also for her. Right. And us staying together is not serving our children any good. It's not doing them any better. I don't want to regret staying together with someone where we're clearly not a good fit and that negatively impacting my kids. Right. And there's definitely old school schools of thought here and new schools of thought here, where the old school methodology would have been like, hey, you just suck it up and you stay together and you do it for the kids. I personally don't buy into that, right? And I am a child of a divorced household. I've got experience there, okay? So anyway, fast forward. We are getting ready. The house goes into contract. We wound up selling the house for $825,000, okay? No, I'm sorry. We sold the house for $850,000. So we had the house listed for $875,000. They came in and offered us $825,000, and I told them to go scratch my ass and kick rocks because that was just dumb. And we basically hit them with a counter offer at $850,000. They accepted it. They put the deposit down. Blah blah blah. Had the house inspection, all that crap done. And it's selling a house. It's closing. It's them getting a mortgage. This shit takes time, right? Which I don't know if a lot of people understand that unless you've been through the process of actually buying and selling a home. And this is, I've done this a couple times at this point in my life. So these folks come in, we do the deal. I'm sorry. So we go to closing, we move out Saturday, and Friday, June 6th, right? This is the Friday before closing on this past Thursday. I didn't make it to Mark's gym in the morning. Right. I had just wrapped up a travel. I had gone over earlier that week, I had gone out to Greenville, South Carolina. This isn't public knowledge yet, and I'm not going to share too much more about it here because it's not time yet, and it's not my place to share it too much. I was asked to be a board member of a fractional CFO firm, and we met in person in Greenville, South Carolina last week, which was really cool. And when I was there, I had this injury already happen, and that's kind of what I want to talk to you guys about here because it's gonna impact some of the next weeks, impact some of the calls I've scheduled with people. It's gonna impact some of the level 1 calls we got going on, and obviously we got team in place. We got Mark, we got Brian, we got Bree that are going to pick up the slack and help out. But I want to give you guys an update and tell you what's going on with me on the medical side of things. Like I feel fine, like I'm really not in pain or anything, but I fucked myself up pretty damn good on Friday, June 6th, and now you can't see it, so man, you can see a little bruising on my arm, but the lighting in here sucks. You can see there's some bruising here. I was deadlifting. I didn't make it to Mark's gym because I was traveling. I went into the gym Friday evening, which I usually don't do, and it was Friday's deadlift day for me, and was deadlifting, and I wasn't deadlifting any weight that was out of the normal for me at all. Long story short, I wound up losing grip strength in my left hand. as I was on my final rep, and it was heavyweights, 495 pounds. I wound up losing grip strength in my left hand, and the bar started to slip out of my hand. And basically, I wound up tensing up and using too much of my left bicep than I should have. And I heard a pop, sounded like a rubber band popped. Uh, it didn't feel good, but it wasn't miserable either, which is the strangest thing. Like I've injured myself before. I mean, I used to play football in high school, and like I've done my knees in, I've done my shoulders in, and like I've been out of commission before. Like I've had back issues in the past. Basically disc issues and bulging discs and herniated discs, all that crap. I've been through all of that, and this injury, like, yeah, it sucked, but it wasn't anything that kind of like made me miserable. It wasn't anything that put me out of commission. So anyway, I do this. It's like 6:30, 7 o'clock on a Friday evening. I'm at Lifetime Fitness Gym in Frisco, which is a really nice facility. I go there every so often when I can't make it to Mark's, and it's just a gorgeous place. And Mark even goes there when he doesn't want to go to his own gym, which should tell you a lot right there. So I do this. I bang up my arm. It's literally the first exercise I'm doing there on a Friday afternoon or evening. I hear this rubber band sound pop. I know exactly what I did because I saw that my elbow pretty much hyperextended, but it didn't hurt the elbow. I saw my bicep kind of just move funky, and it was like, oh fuck, I know exactly what I did. And it's an injury that is one that's always kind of been in the back of my head, and one that I've always kind of dreaded because I've seen other people go through this before. And I'm not looking forward to the surgery that's coming up on Monday, nor am I looking forward to the rehab and the physical therapy that's coming up behind that. But long story short, I ruptured the tendon that connects one of the bicep heads to the elbow, and started going through the whole process. I got an HMO health plan, so I have to go in and see my primary doctor in order to get a referral, and this whole back and forth bullshit. So by the time all that was said and done, I finally got into the orthopedic doctor yesterday. Okay, like we're talking almost 2 weeks, 10 or 11, or I think it was 11 days by the time I finally got into the orthopedic. Saw the dude yesterday. Within like 3 minutes, he's like, "Yeah, you're kind of fucked. You need surgery." He goes, "You can either leave it because you'll be okay without it." He goes, "You don't need it to survive." He goes, "However, your arm's going to be deformed forever, and deformed. I'll show you in a second. I got some photos." And you won't have the mobility that you have now. Plus, you won't have some strength in that arm. And like, to me, I hate to break it to you, but as vain as it may sound, like that's a big deal for me, right? Because I've busted my ass, literally busted my ass over the last 5, 6, or 7 years working on me physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, the whole 9 yards, right? And the physical piece of it for me, it's a big deal, and it's something that I care about. And I think you guys have probably picked up on that at this point because like I take care of myself as best I can at 44 years of age. I'm literally in the best shape of my life at 44. And I don't want to stop or halt the forward progress. I don't want to fall back into the traps and the ruts that I have in the past, because I also know that mental health is heavily connected and tied to the amount of exercise, weightlifting, working out that we're due for ourselves too, right? And there's a lot of other shit tied into it too. You guys had probably heard me go on my damn soapbox and talk about alcohol consumption having a lot to do with that too, right? And these are all things that I've addressed and overcome over the last couple of years of my life. So to me, it's a really big deal that I get this thing fixed so I can get back to as much normal me as I possibly can. So saw the orthopedic yesterday. They took x-rays in the office, which are useless because they have to do it for medical insurance purposes in order to get the MRI going, which the health insurance and the medical community is a complete fucking shit show. And it's no wonder why our country is broke. If anyone's been through the medical system, which I know several people who are watching this call right now, several people in this group have been through our medical system. It's a fucking joke, right? And we could record a podcast and talk about that shit show for quite some time. But I got my MRI today. Went in there. They called me up yesterday, and you had to get a referral to get the MRI too, which is another joke. The lady calls me up and she's like, "Hey, we're giving you a call, and one of the things that we do is we ask some personal questions about the body size of the person who's coming in, blah 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 blah. So I need you to tell me how tall are you and what do you weigh?" So I'm like, I'm 6'4" and like I'm 275 on a good day, right? So she's like, "Oh," I'm like, "Oh fuck, here we go." So she's like, I had you scheduled for like room 1C. And she goes, that machine's really not going to fit you. Like, you're going to need the bigger one. So we're going to have to push you out later in the day because the other machine gets used quite often. And it's requested by a lot of people, which makes sense. If anyone here has been through an MRI, like it's claustrophobic if that's something that you deal with. Um, so I get in there today. Like they put me on this table. They got me laying out like Superman with my hands out in front of me. They got my arm locked in this contraption, and they got this foam shoved in there so I can't move. You can't move when you do an MRI. I found that out the hard way when I was 17, and I had to have my knee rebuilt. Um, if you move, they have to redo the MRI, and the MRI is like 45 minutes long. It's fucking loud as all hell. So anyway, they stick me in this tube like Superman. This table comes up and it slides me in. My shoulders are literally hitting the inside walls of this tube. And if Mark's watching this, hopefully he's not. My giant head, I've got to duck down and like sneak my head into this tube with all the pillows and shit they got around me. So I go in there and I'm like, all right, this position's pretty miserable. I'm already uncomfortable, but we have to make the best of it, right? And making the best of it, I want to go back to the injury here in a minute as well and talk about making the best of it. So, all right, I know I got about 45 minutes of being in a very uncomfortable position. I've got foam earplugs in because it's loud as all hell in the MRI. They make clicking, clucking, banging noises, and it's crazy. And I said, I kind of got to get into that mental space here where I kind of need to go into like the zone. I need to go into the flow state. I need to go into the meditative state. I need to get into that area where I shut the outside world around me off and I focus inward on me. Okay, cool. Like I do this shit all the time. Like it's part of my practice. It's part of one of the reasons that most people think that I'm as calm as I am and that I can kind of push through a lot of the bullshit and the storms that are thrown at us. And it's an ability where I don't know if I could verbalize how I do it. It's one of those innate things where you just wake up and you fucking know how to do it. I don't know where that comes from. Okay. But I'm pretty good at relaxing myself and going inward when needed. And that's exactly what I did. I went into this tube and basically said, all right, cool, man, you're locked in this sucker for 45 minutes to make the best of it. And I wound up getting myself so relaxed and kind of so much into like the meditative state that my big ass fell asleep. And the dude had to come in and wake me up in order to pull me out of the machine. So, and he had to replace the pillows because my dumbass drooled all over the pillow too. So just throwing it out there, being transparent with you guys as always. So anyway, I get through it. They send over the information. We got the surgery scheduled for Monday, this Monday coming up, 2 p.m. Central. I have to go in there a couple hours early. They're going to do blood work. They're going to do an EKG on me, make sure my heart's good, all that kind of just typical, pre-op bullshit. They asked me a zillion questions. They told me I have to stop taking a lot of my supplements and my vitamins leading up to the surgery, which makes sense after I did a little bit of research on it. And that's it. So this Monday I go in at 2 p.m. and they're going to, which this drives me crazy now because I just had this damn artwork finished on my arm in like May of this past year. They've got to cut Ben Franklin here. They got to make a cut on the dude. They got to make an incision that's about 1 inch laterally here, and then go in there, do their thing. They're going to wind up drilling a hole in my bone, and they're going to go up here. They're going to grab the tendon, and they're going to stretch it down, and then kind of poke it through the hole, and then cinch it in place. And the guy, he described the whole procedure to me. And then basically, I go into recovery for a couple hours. I go home the same day. They send me home in a splint. So I'm going to have my arm in a splint, kind of like pinned to my chest like this for about 2 weeks, which obviously is going to limit mobility. It's going to limit me from doing a lot of things. They have prescribed narcotics to me already, which I'm not a fan of. You guys have to understand, like I am not one for any kind of pills whatsoever. I'm not one who typically likes to go and put Advil or even Tylenol into my body. I don't like it. Never did, never will. So I understand the importance of that, and I may need to be on them for a couple of days. But I'm going to be very adamant and monitor that big time because I also know the flip side of that coin, and I know the bullshit horror stories that can happen when people have injuries like this and wind up getting addicted to pain pills. I've got some other tricks up my sleeve there too, which we can discuss offline. Um, but I go in, I have the surgery Monday, and realistically, I'm going to be out of pocket for a couple days. I'll probably be out of it for 2, probably 3 days. So towards the end of next week, I should be operational, good to go. And if worst case scenario, it's going to be the final week, I may just take the whole week, depending upon how I feel next week. So if there was any calls that we had scheduled, bugs flying at me here. I'm going to reschedule them with you guys. Mark is going to take next week's group level 1 call. Again, he did it this week. He's going to do it next week for me because I'm just not going to be there for it. So just want to give you guys a heads up with that. And then recovery, we're looking at me wearing the splint for 2 weeks, and then I've got about 90 days of full recovery. Approximately 2 weeks after the surgery, I'm going to start physical therapy. I'll probably go in there 2 or 3 times a week, whatever they tell me I need to do. And this is a 90-day ramp up period to get myself back to normal, if you want to use that term, and then get myself back into the gym and continue working. I'm going to continue going to the gym. Obviously, I'm going to heal up and rest at least for a good solid week, maybe 2 weeks. But I'm going to continue going into the gym. I need to get with Mark, and this is something like, hey, this isn't a fucking excuse to give up and stop doing your daily shit. Okay, I hope everyone knows that here, right? Like, I still have obligations. I still have to be a dad. I still have to be a business owner. I still have to do X, Y, and Z. I still have to do this, that, and the other thing, right? And one of those things for me personally, right, is I still need to take care of me. Because when I don't take care of me, everything else falls the fuck apart. Everything else is tied to me. Okay? So I have to continue taking care of me. And that to me looks like me going in and working on me in the mornings and sticking to my routine and sticking to the diet and making sure that I'm consuming the correct amount of vitamins and water that I should be drinking every day, right? So that can't change. It's going to change for a couple days leading up to surgery because that's what they told me, and it's going to probably be impacted for a couple days because I'm probably not going to have an appetite a couple days out of surgery. But moving forward from there, I have to do everything I can within my own powers to get back into a routine, even if it's not the exact routine. Let's get it as close or similar as possible. I want to go back to the actual injury itself, right? Because in my past, and I'm sure people here who are watching this, you've come across situations where you've experienced this too. I know the old version of me would have been a disaster, a complete fucking shit show right now. And I probably would have burned my own world to the ground by now if I had not done a lot of inner work on me, if I had not given up the alcohol, if I had not overcome some of the inner demons and some of the depression issues I had. And like, I wasn't like a really depressed person, but I definitely had some form of depression going on, courtesy of negative self-talk, limiting beliefs, right? Self-worth issues. And then you tie in negativity that surrounds you, friends, family, in your ecosystem. And then you pour fuel on the fire with alcohol and like, oh, cool. That's a fucking disaster waiting to happen. So I say that because, and I've had this conversation with a couple of you recently. I think Michelle Miller had the conversation with you. Bree, I've had the conversation with you. Jen Reese, I've had this conversation with you, right? I have a 3-day rule, okay? If some shit goes down in your life, if some bull crap happens in the office, in the building, if something happens to you physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, something that sends you into the tailspin, the downward spiral, the depression, whatever term you want to use to call it, I don't give a fuck. You've got 3 days to say, oh, woe is me, and play the fucking victim. That's it. After 3 days, it's simply a choice. And you're continuing to say, oh, look at me, I'm a victim. I don't know about you guys, but I want nothing to do with victim mentality. I despise it. Right. And some people may like this. Some people may not. I really don't care. I learned a lot of this many, many years ago when I first came across Grant Cardone, and he talks about it heavily in his book, The 10X Rule. If you haven't read it, go read it. And if you're not a reader and you prefer audiobooks, go get the audiobook version because Grant reads it himself aloud, and he adds a lot of extra little snippets into it. And he has a whole rant that he goes on about victim mentality and, oh, woe is me. and being a little bitch, he talks about, right? And this is stuff that is still stuck with me to this very day. And it's one of the things that helped me develop the mindset that I currently have, which has helped me overcome some real serious shit in life, right? Like people look at me and they're like, oh, Tom's successful. Oh, Tom's an author. Oh, Tom speaks from stage. Oh, Tom's had these businesses. Yeah, cool. That's the fucking highlight reel, right? I'm still human. I still go through bullshit. I still face challenges and obstacles every damn day of my life, not just in the business world, but also in the personal side of things, right? And it's these things here that have helped me. These are the tools I've added to my tool belt that have helped me develop into the person that I am today. Okay. So this injury happens. I'm fucking furious at me because I knew exactly what I did wrong. I wanted to go back in time and fix it, but that's just not how reality works, right? Once the action has transpired, once the damage has been done, once the word has come out of your mouth, by the way, words are powerful and you cannot retract them. Okay. A little lesson right there, folks. Okay. Once the damage is done, you cannot go back in time to fix the fuck up. So what do? Do you sit there and sulk, or do you move the fuck on and take action to fix it as best as possible? And this is, again, where the 3-day rule comes into play. So I was pissed, man. Like I knew I fucked myself up real good. And I had a fucking big ass barbell. I had 5 plates on each side of the barbell, right? And I was like, well, fuck, I got one good arm at this point in time. I'm not even putting the weight away. So the poor people over at Lifetime Fitness had to re-rack my weights, and that's a big no-no in any gym, by the way. And I just didn't give a shit. So I grabbed my stuff, walked outside. I was still in my gym clothes, all sweaty and nasty. And I was like, well, fuck it. Like, it is what it is. I got my truck, and literally across the street on the opposite side of the tollway in Frisco, Texas, is Medical City, Dallas, or Medical City, Frisco. So drove over there, go into the emergency room, and $950 copay. And I was there maybe 45 minutes, and they didn't give me a fucking x-ray. They had a doctor who came in and touched my arm with his thumb. And he said, here's a prescription strength Motrin. You have to go see an orthopedic. Complete waste of my time. So, and that's just me not having that much experience, hurting myself, which is a good thing, and having to deal with doctors in emergency rooms. So lesson learned, I will not be going to the emergency room unless I am having a fucking heart attack, stroke, or bleeding out because I've cut an artery, or something very, very, very serious. Other than that, I will wait and go see the doctor through a traditional scheduled appointment. So they released me there, and I went home. And in the past, after something like that happened to me, like that would have been, oh, that's the excuse to go get drunk. That's the excuse to go drink some vodka sodas. That's the excuse to go drink a frozen margarita at Salsa Tex-Mex, which, by the way, has fantastic frozen margaritas. And I ain't going to lie, I crave the fuck out of them sometimes. Okay. That's the excuse to go home and drink 6 beers. And like, no, it's not. Because when you drink the alcohol and you add that bullshit into there, you know what it does? It fucks up your healing. Like, you get inflamed, and now your problem that you had that was like at a 3 is now exacerbated. Now it's a 7 or an 8 or a 9 or a 10, right? All right, cool. So lessons learned. We've overcome some stuff because we've done some self-development and deep diving into this and whatnot. So that night, I was still mad at me. I was going into that tailspin. And I was, pretty somber, pretty quiet at home. I was still in the house with Jen and the kids, and kind of just stayed to myself because I didn't want my negativity to rub off on them. Right. Went upstairs, went to sleep. And as I was going to sleep, I was kind of pushing my own buttons, like, oh, I should have done. And I said, bro, you got to stop. Right. So I give myself the 3-day rule. But as I've evolved, as I've gotten better, as I've learned, as I've self-developed, I don't even need 3 days anymore. So I went through that night, and I finally said, hit the brakes, dude. Cut it. You can't fucking do anything about it right now except fix things, the future part of this. You can't go back in time, right? Stop beating yourself up. Stop saying, oh, I should have. Oh, I should have done this. I should have done that. It's irrelevant at this point. It is a waste of your fucking mental space, right? It is causing further decision fatigue. Shut up and go to bed. And I did. Okay, I went to sleep. Woke up the next morning, and some of the same thoughts pop back into my head, because the second you go to move your arm, you're like, oh, fuck, this thing hurts and whatnot. And that was it. I was like, you got to be done with it. So about a day and a half went by, And I made the conscious decision right then and there. I was like, all right, we're done with this. We cannot do anything to fix or solve this problem whatsoever. So I want to just pop in here real quick and just share some quick photos with you guys. So the picture here on the left is my good bicep, my right one, and you can see it looks pretty normal. This one here on the right with my tattooed arm, that's the one that I fucked up, and you can see how high my bicep is actually sitting on my arm, and it looks bigger than it normally is because it literally rolled up my arm and wanted to go up high. So that's not normal. That's one of the reasons that I want to go in here and fix this thing. But about a week after, the bruising really started to come in, and I mean it's just serious internal damage from the ruptured tendon that caused it. And this last photo I think is kind of funny. I figured I'd share with you guys. So when I went in for the MRI today, I wear shorts everywhere. If you guys haven't known that about me, but like it could be 42 degrees here and I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt. It's just how I am. So I go in there and I'm wearing these nice, like stretchy, like a nicer higher end brand short that I always wear. And they got metal buttons on there. And if you have an MRI, you can't go through the metal. So they made me take off my shorts and put on, it almost looks like a kilt. It's so damn big, but I had to put on these pair of shorts. I figured it was funny and I would just share with you guys. So, all right, folks. I gave you guys a whole story here. I covered a bunch of information. I want you guys, and I hope you guys learn some lessons from some of the stuff I shared with you here tonight. This is kind of just last minute. I figured I'd come in here, off the cuff, drop some information, share it with you guys, do a little bit of storytelling. And by the way, storytelling's practice. It's practice for me too, and it can be practice for you as well. Telling stories is a way of communication. It makes us a better communicator, makes us a more effective communicator. Don't you think for a minute that I'm not going to take this story and tell it from a stage one day. Okay, that's one of the reasons I'm coming in here today and practicing with you. Plus, I figured it was very fair and only fair that I would come in and update my people on what's going on with me. So with that being said, folks, I'm getting out of here. It is now 9:11. I've got, oh my Lord, 7 missed text messages and 4 missed phone calls. I'm sure some people want to check in on me and see what's going on. So if you guys need me, I am very reachable until Tuesday of next week. Feel free to reach out, hit me up, send me a text, send me a DM. And if you can't get me, hit Mark, Bree, Brian, somebody on the team. We'll be able to help you as best possible. I appreciate the shit out of all of you. I really do. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys. Oh, before we wrap it up, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. Okay. November 9th and 10th. Bree locked in the venue today. It's going to be just outside of the Galleria Mall in Dallas, Texas, probably 20 minutes south of where the last one was. So expect an email to come through from that. If you guys have not RSVP'd yet, I need you to RSVP so we can make sure we have the right amount of food and all that kind of shit in place for you guys. This is a 2-day event. Day 1, we're doing our traditional mastermind training. Day 2, we are doing a deep dive on year-end planning and also planning for 2024. And it's really going to be super powerful. We've been working behind the scenes on putting the structure of that together, and I really can't wait to share it and show you guys what we got there. I look forward to seeing you all very soon. And as always, if I can do something for you, reach out. Have a great night.
Thank you for tuning in to the Step It Up Entrepreneur Podcast. Make sure you head over to stepitupentrepreneur.com and make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode of the Step It Up Entrepreneur Podcast.